Hello and welcome everybody to Younger Gymnasium in beautiful Havertown, Pennsylvania. I am Tommy Toohill with my good friend Brendan McNichol here in Younger Gymnasium, and we are going to have a nice Tuesday night rivalry basketball matchup here between the Springfield Cougars and your Haverford Fords here. It's a big game, lots of playoff implications on the line here as the winning tip will go to the Fords. We apologize for the late airing. We had some extreme technical difficulties. Hopefully, nothing will impact the rest of this broadcast. Here's the Fords are going to get going. Wiener shoots an outside three off the front of the rim, rebounded by the Cougars, and they will get started here. Rebound was by Luke Bianicello, the junior guard. Here is now the Cougars get set up into their first offensive possession of the night. So they're going to take it over to Bianicello. His three, no good. Rebounded over by Seidman. Good job by Wiener there to tip the ball. And now the Fords go. Tommy Wright up and in. Fords' first points of the night with a layup. 7:15 left in this first quarter. And just like that, the Fords get their first score. Now we're going to welcome in my good friend Brendan McNichol. Brendan, great to see you tonight. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, Tommy, and that's a great start for the Fords. Me and you talked about it a lot pregame. This is a big game for both teams, but specifically Haverford and the rest of their season. How do they want this to go?
Exactly. Now the Fords going into this game are 8-7, 22nd team in District 1-6A. Brendan, 24 teams make the district playoffs. So the Fords are right now the inside part of that bubble, but still on the bubble of the district playoffs. So they got to continue to win their games. As we get a forced turnover here by the Fords. Looks like it was a charge drawn there.
And Tommy, this wasn't always a bubble team. At early points of the season, when they beat Lower Merion, they were the #1 team in District 1-6A. So now, sitting at the spot, it's tough after they've been on a tough stretch.
Yes, and correction, there was no charge drawn on the play there, just a turnover, as that's what the Fords really did or have been doing when they've been playing well this season. They've been playing very good defense, leading to some of their offense, and we'll see if Wiener and Seidman get going here from a cause of their defense. Here's right. Jumper up, no good. Loose ball. They're going to say it stays with the Fords. That shot was contested by number 31 of the Cougars, Colin Trude. Another junior forward, or another junior here on this Springfield team, this time the forward. Here as Wright inbounds it over to Seidman, and the Fords will get started back up. Seidman gives it over to Gannon, now over to Wiener. Wiener hands it back off to Seidman. He's going to take a jumper way off, no good. I got you. And now it is still 2-0 here with 6:03 left in the opening quarter here as the Cougars take it up. Bianicello with the ball here. Now he gives it over to his teammate. He's going to look for some work. His layup up, no good. Seemed a little rushed, but he's going to get the board in the post guarded by Wright. Wiener tried to force the jump ball. No good. Up and in. Great effort once again by Trude. Really did it all for himself there, and the Cougars on that possession there, Brendan.
Yeah, and he seems to be their guy, Tommy. Got some spunk to him.
He really does here. It is now 2-2 with 5:30 left. Simon's mid-range jumper, no good. Bianicello once again getting the rebound here. He's going to take it up. He's going to pass it over to Trude. Looks to be a little 1-2 punch here for the Cougars to start off this game, Brendan. Bianicello and Trude. Now it gets back to Bianicello. Lots of off-ball movement. He's going to dish it over to Dolan. Gives it back over to Trude. Now over to Hoey. Hoey in front of the Fords bench. He's going to drive, kick it out. Outside shot, way off, no good. Trude and Wright are going to fight for it. And I believe it's going to stay with the Cougars.
And Tommy, a good defensive stand there by Haverford.
My fault. My fault. Not going to stay with the Cougars. It's going to go to the Fords.
A problem they often had during this tough stretches, they're never able to show in the paint when a guy's got a one-on-one situation. They never play tough help D. But Brian Wieners did a great job playing some help D, showing a little bit and making the guy kick it out for the missed three.
Yeah, that was really great. There's a nifty pass there by right over to Seidman, who was guarded by Hoey. Hoey with the foul now. Gets Seidman over to the line. I mean, it would have been a lob if it wasn't to a guard, but, I mean, still pretty creative play call there by Coach Heinrichs and the squad.
Hey, you never know. Maybe he can get up there.
Seidman's first shot from the line goes up and in. 4:44 left in this opening quarter. Big Central League tilt here for both teams respectively. in any of their postseason aspirations as Sideman's second shot from the line in and out. 3-2 Ford's lead here with 4:35 left. Bionicelli over here. Gives it over to Hoey, out into the corner. We'll see what the Cougars want to do here. Not a lot working for him right now. They got Trude. He's got the only points here for the Cougars so far. Kicks it over to the corner. Nothing going. Bionicelli kind of guarded pretty well there by Wiener. Now back over to Hoey. Hoey looking. Dishes it over to Trude at the top of the circle there. Looking. Can't really see much. Over back to Bionicelli. Great swarming defense here by this Ford's team so far.
Yeah, they're not giving them any room right now at the three-point line, Tommy.
They really have not. Here's Mike O'Donnell right now. Gets it up, drives, layup, up, no good. I think they're going to call the block or a shooting foul. It's going to be on Kevin Gannon. It's going to be his first shot. O'Donnell to the line to shoot 2.
Obviously, we're gonna have Gordon Bright in here, probably for Keith Heinrichs, but that's an interesting start for Keith Heinrichs because obviously Coach Heinrichs, his dad, has been like shaking the lineup up a lot with this tough stretch they've had. You know, they're trying to shake it up, see what they can find.
Yeah, this team has been reeling a little bit. O'Donnell's first shot from the line, no good. Second shot does fall though, so it'll be all knotted up here. 3-3, 3:53 left. We apologize. There's no scoreboard once again. We had some technical difficulties. Hopefully we can get it back to you maybe towards the in the second half. We will see, though. Here, as Gannon has it now with the Fords in front of the Cougar bench, gives it over to Wiener. Wiener driving right to the basket. Up, no good, just couldn't finish. Rebounded by Aiden Crate, number 2. And now here come the Cougars. Trude now with it. Giving it over. Ball deflected in front of the Ford's bench. Wright tried to save it. Didn't work. He's going to jump on a couple of his teammates. Possession will stay with the Cougars. And you know what, Brendan? Something we've kind of seen here a lot. Pretty scrappy, kind of, pretty tight basketball game. That'll happen in a rivalry game, and especially with these two squads who, they really don't like each other on or off the court.
Yeah, and it's obviously always going to be a scrappy game when you have two evenly sized groups here, and especially when you have a really undersized guy in Bionicelli as your main guy.
Yeah, here as Crite has it now, gives it to Bionicelli, or Cello, my fault. Gives it back over to O'Donnell. He's going to look to try to drive, doesn't see it. Trude in the corner, his long-range jumper, no good. Rebounded by Seidman. And he's going to try to slow it down a little bit here for the Fords. Gets a screen from Wright, looking to see what he wants. He had Hoey on him. Now Wright's going to take the Cougars big man in for the drive, and just like that, gets it up. Look at that. Tommy Wright, 4 of the Fords' first 5 points already, makes it 5-3, 2:20 left. And now the Cougars are going to try to get set up here. Trude with it now. Cougars big man gives it over to O'Donnell. O'Donnell in front of the Ford's bench, guarded by Bright. He's going to try to spin in, guarded by Wright. Pretty good shot contest with some contact and a foul. O'Donnell will go back to the line to shoot for 2. As Cascarina seems to maybe check in here for the Fords. It'll be interesting. Maybe he's going to check in here for Wright. Give the Fords big man some rest as O'Donnell's first shot from the line gets to go. As Wright is checked out. And you know what, Brendan? Wright, surprisingly, has been this team's spark plug throughout this little tough stretch here. Whenever things seem to get a little dark, Wright usually tries to show a little lightness.
Yeah, always been a light point. He's big for them. They're one big guy. The rest of their players normally they run 4 guards and him, and he's normally the center taking on whatever the challenge is for that team.
Now they have Cascarina in. He's going to go up. Nice pump fake. Got both Trude and Crate to bite on it. By the way, score is now 5-5, 1:59 left in the opening quarter. As this will take Cascarina to the line to shoot for 2. Cascarina's first shot up and in. Foul was on Crate. That will be his first personal. We have some substitutions coming in now for the Cougars and the Fords, respectfully. Gannon takes a seat. with Heinrichs checking in for him. And the Cougars make a couple substitutions as Cascarina goes 2 for 2 from the line to make this now a 7-5 contest. 1:55 left in the opening quarter, and Bianicello brings it up for the Cougars. Here we go. We got some substitutions. We'll see if O'Donnell and this Springfield offense can get it going. Long-range jumper, absolutely nothing. Nothing but air.
Yeah, Tommy, I'm not sure what the reasoning for that shot was. I mean, that was seemingly way out of his range.
Yeah, it really did not seem like that was a shot that he should have been comfortable with taking, as Wiener gives it over to Heinrichs. Now over to Cascarina in the corner. Back over to Wiener. Pretty good ball movement here by the Fords. Wiener now looking in. Mid-range jumper up. No good. Off the back of the rim. Rebounded by Crate. Gives it to Bianicello. And now the Cougars have a chance to tie this all up. It'll be interesting to see. Fords kind of seem to take the Cougars out of their rhythm, although the Cougars really don't seem to be too much of a high-scoring team. They're really only averaging around 45 points a game, Brendan. Here is the rebound from Cascarina.
And Tom, that's evident here in this first quarter. I mean, as this quarter wind down, or the final minute, it's 7-5.
Yes. Kind of two struggling teams right now, as there's an outside shot. Brian Wiener from beyond the arc gets it to go. Fords lead now 5. 40 seconds left, 10-5 in the opening quarter to play.
And that's big, Tommy. I mean, they've struggled a lot from outside the line, and that's really something they normally did the best.
As O'Donnell gets a travel there, that was really uncharacteristic. I think he's kind of feeling the pressure and wanted to try to pull it again, then realized it wasn't probably the smartest idea and still messed up.
But Tommy, Brian Wiener hitting that shot early in this game is huge. Often they struggled early on shooting, and that's a big get for the Fords.
A huge get, especially because in the struggles, I think we can kind of say their outside shooting may be a factor, the reason why they've had some struggles. So maybe, I mean, we've been talking about it a little bit here the last couple of games, but maybe what they, there may be an opportunity here for the Fords if they start to get into a rhythm of outside shooting, they could get maybe hot again. As the Fords trying to hold for the last shot here, odd way for Wiener to get it, floater up and in, last second basket for the Fords here as O'Donnell's half-court heave didn't even get off. And just like that, it'll be 12-5. The Haverford Fords leading at the end of the first quarter here. And by the way, just in case no one knew, the girls team, who's number 1 in District 1 6A, played a pretty good Springfield girls team themselves over in Springfield Township. Brendan, do we have an update on that game?
Yeah, Tommy, it is currently 13-4 Fords. So games going on at the same time.
Similar outcomes.
Yeah. I mean, we got 12-5, 13-4, similar.
All right, Brendan, we weren't able to get really that much of a pregame for the audience that is joining in for us now. Thank you all for dealing with our technical difficulties. So, it's not always perfect here at Haverford Sports Media, and we thank you for, dealing with all our ups and downs. Brendan, we have a Springfield Cougar team here coming into this contest. They were 6-10, 5-5 in the Central League. And they're ranked 31st in the district in District 1 6A. So, what are some things that we could kind of talk about this Cougar team that we've kind of seen from this first quarter of play, and besides that, some of the background?
Well, Tommy, I'll tell you what, they're a tough team to play in this Central League. They're middle of the road. They're going to give you everything they got. They're 5-5 right now, and that's needing to be seen, obviously, because their overall record is 6-10. So that means they had a really tough non-conference schedule. They had some tough go-arounds early in the season, but they're a tough out in the Central League. So this is going to be a battle, Tommy. It
really is going to be a battle here, as Wright almost tried to strip the Cougar player there. Did not work, though, and now they're going to give it over to number 1, Patrick Flaherty, the sophomore guard. He's going to look around, try to see what he has. Dishes it over in the corner. Doesn't get to go. Great defense still by this Fords team, Brendan, giving them absolutely no breathing room. Here's we have Johnston had the ball. Gave it over to Adams. Adams now looking. Dishes it over. Over to Flaherty. Flaherty looking to see what he wants to do. Doesn't really have many options. Again, this Fords defense has been swarming. And now they're going to give it over to O'Donnell. O'Donnell, lazy pass, stolen by Wiener. He picked his pocket, gets triple team, dishes it over to Simon for 3. No good. Rebound by Flaherty. Wright did a great job of contesting there, but still no points for either team. Still 12-5, 6:50 left in the second quarter.
I'll tell you what, Tommy, for a team that doesn't seem to be that strong from the three-point line, Haverford's really pushing up and not allowing any room beyond the arc.
Yeah, which is interesting. Maybe they're just trying to get them out of their rhythm and press them a little bit here and see how that works. So we had Johnson with the ball. A little drive, floater, no good by Flaherty. Rebounded by Wright. Dishes it over to Seidman. And here come the Fords again. Really just shutting out this Cougars defense as Seidman's long-range shot does not get to go. Just bounced off the side of the rim, and here comes Flaherty again. I mean, really, we're kind of seeing we're really seeing a defensive showing here by both teams, Brendan. Maybe more on the Ford side with the defense and more the Fords missing their own shots than the Cougars playing great defense. It's Seidman again here, diving for a loose ball. It's off. Bodies all over the floor, and this Ford in the parking lot is really liking that action there. Blackout theme for the student section. They're getting pretty rowdy.
And Tommy, I'll tell you what, you talked about being a defensive game. I would say it's very much been a defensive game for Haverford, but for this Haverford offense, I mean, they're just not so far in the second quarter. They're really not moving the ball as well as they did in the first.
Yeah, I think what it is that they kind of just missed a couple of perimeter shots there in the beginning of that second quarter, which kind of plagued them a little bit here. As Bionicello gets it again here. Dished it over to Adams. Now they're in the corner with it. Again, really no room for this team as Hoey gave it back over to Adams. Now over to O'Donnell, back to Adams. They're going to play a game. Bionicello, outside shot, and it gets to go. Bionicello from beyond the arc makes it a 12-8 game here. Ford still lead, 5.5 left in the first half. They got it to a cutting Wiener. He gets doubled over to Seidman. Flushes it over to Wright. He's going to shoot an outside shot. No good, off the front of the rim. Just off the fingertips of Seidman, back to Bionicello. He'll give it over to Adams. Adams looking, gives it back over to Bionicello, back over to Adams. Really looks like this offense is centralized between a couple key guys on this Cougar team, Brendan.
Yeah, and to go back to the last sequence, Tommy, we talked about Cougars in a second, but to go back to the last sequence, Haverford, I mean, there's this defense. Springfield trying to be very aggressive from beyond the arc. They're really not allowing any guys to get. They don't really want to get anybody in the paint, and they're looking to double all the time.
There's a foul on Wright. That was his second, and there's a forced turnover again by the Fords. I think there was a time. I think Dirty had a 10-second. I think Bionicello had a 30-second, or my fault, not a 30-second, a 10-second violation there. Couldn't get the ball in. Great defense by the Fords. They force another turnover here. This Springfield offense is really reeling right now, Brendan.
Yeah, and obviously both offenses are in this first quarter. But I mean, Springfield hasn't really found any real offensive rhythm. They're not really moving the ball that well because Haverford's. To be fair to Haverford, they are playing a suffocating style of defense right now, Tommy.
I mean, they really are. I think they're kind of playing a little bit more of a zone here, Brendan, which I think is kind of helping out with closing out on those shooters, which really, it kind of seems like anytime there's any outside pressure. By the way, there was no turnover on the play, but a forced timeout had to be taken by Springfield. As now Adams is going to get the inbound pass here for the Cougars. But I mean, this like zone defense here kind of looks like we're running a 1-3-1 here. Pretty good execution by this Fords team, making sure that once these Cougars get any perimeter penetration, they're not really liking it. As Trude's layup up and no good. That was almost a gimme. Just came up short. As now Wiener's going to give it over to Bright for three, and it's good. Gorman Bright from beyond the arc makes it 15-8 Fords. And just like that, we see another outside shot getting made, Brendan.
And sorry, to tell you the truth, it's Haverford defense. Really what they're emphasizing is off ball, is trying to be, if you're the farthest half of the ball, trying to give as much help as possible inside.
Yeah, which is very interesting considering the only real big man presence I see is Trude there, as we have Adams missed the corner three, got his own rebounding, put it home. 15-10 now. Fords, 4 minutes left in this first half. Now let's see if the Fords get themselves an answer here. As we have Heinrichs gives it over to Wright. Right over to Gannon. They're gonna play. He's gonna play a game of catch with Wright there. Wright gave his screen over to Wiener. He got trapped. Bright over to Heinrichs, over to Wright. He's going to drive in. Layup, up, no good. Rebounded by Bright. And now they're going to give it back to Wiener and slow this pace down and get set up, Brendan. Great hustle there shown by the Forts. Wright's pass is tipped. A little force there. O'Donnell picks it off. Looks on the fast break. They're going to call a blocking foul on Tommy Wright and no charge.
And Tom, I'll tell you what, both teams, I mean, that's another fast break. We've seen a lot of steals, fast breaks in this game so far, and nobody's really able to finish at the rim or finish on the fast breaks at all. It's really ended up in just a mess.
Really has is right there. I think O'Donnell kind of chuckled and was talking to right there, feeling like he got away with one. Really had the feet set. Really didn't seem like there was anything, didn't really seem like, there was any reason to call a block there, and Wright did get the call. He's now in foul trouble, by the way. That was his third personal foul, so Cascarino will probably be in for the rest of this first half. It'll be interesting to see if the Cougars start to attack him. As now we have Hoey over to Bianicelli, gives it down over to Trude. They're going to double him, kick it back out to Bianicelli. His outside shot is good. That's his second made three-pointer by Bianicello. Keep on messing up his name. And that'll make it a 2-point game now. Some outside shooting, having the Cougars keep it tight here, Brendan.
And although they haven't seen like the strongest team, he's generating points from around the arc right now. So
here as Gannon gets it now over to Bright. As now Gannon has it. Gives it over to Wiener. Almost a advertent pass. Good save there. Looks like they're going to call an offensive foul on Will Cascarina here. That'll be his first. Alrighty, we got the Fords big man accounting for 4 of the 6 team fouls here for the Fords, almost putting the Cougars in the bonus here, Brendan.
Yeah, and that's not really where you want to be right now, Tommy, especially with it only being a 2-point game.
Yeah, it's not great here. It's now Trude going on Cascarina in the post. He's going to try to go up. No good, and they're going to call a travel on the Cougars' big man. Pretty good defense still. Mental mistake there. Another turnover by this Cougars offense. And, that's really what's plagued them. It really looks like Bianicello is going to have to do a lot for this Cougars offense if they want to keep this tight and maybe even try to get a win here, Brendan.
Yeah, he seems to be their big threat, and he's taking advantage of any space he's really getting.
Here as we have Heinrichs gives it over to Gannon. Watching them try to give it to Seidman here, and they do. Seidman guarded by Hoey. Looks, gives it over to Cascarina. He's going to drive in, kick it over to Gannon. Gannon's going to drive, look, dish it back to Cascarina. Nothing. Over to Wiener. Off of the Cougar defender. That was off of Bianicello's knee.
And Tommy, just from that sequence right there, I feel as though it looks to me as like nobody wants
to shoot the basketball.
No, nobody wants to be the threat. Nobody wants to be the guy to take the shot. And I'm not sure why. I don't know, because I think all these guys are capable of shooting the ball. I think all these guys know that they can make shots from a fair range, and nobody really wants to. Everybody's just passing the ball.
Yeah, it really seems like a game of hot potato here on the offensive side of the ball, which, to be honest, you don't want ISO ball in high school basketball, but at the same time, it's kind of hard when no one really wants to take a shot and all you're really doing is just passing around.
Your first goal in the game is
put the ball in
the score. Not second goal is pass. If you can't score, then pass. But nobody's trying to score.
There as Cascarina finally takes a shot. Trude did a pretty good shot contest, got a block and a rebound, gives it back over to Bianicello. And here we go. Under a minute left in this first half, Brendan, and this game got closer than it really feels. It's only a 2-point game. Cougars could take a lead here off an outside shot. Bianicello in the post. Over to Trude. He's going to dribble with it. Back over to Bianicello. 35 left in the first half here. Bianicello is going to just try to take his time. Over to Hoey, down in the corner. Over to Adams. Adams going to give it over to O'Donnell. Back over to Hoey. They're going to look for a backdoor cut here. We'll see what happens. Adams in the corner now, guarded by Gannon. Gives it over to Trude. Back over to Adams. I would say watch any backdoor cuts here if you're the Ford's defense. They're going to try to give it back over to Bionicello. They got to get a shot off here soon if they want anything. They're going to go baseline. Hoey up and in. And just like that, at the end of the first half, it's all tied up. It's 15 all. Both the Cougars and the Fords tied going into the half. That defense seemed a little lazy there by Hoey. On that Hoey shot there, it really looked like they just let him go baseline. I got to be honest, looked a lot like the buzzer beater we saw against Marple here. Very interesting because that first quarter and the first half of that second quarter, really the whole first half seemed to be the Fords' game. And then right at the end there, no one wanted to take a shot on the offensive end. And a couple outside shots made by Bionicello.
Yeah,
and
Bionicello's really keeping him in this game. He's got 8 points right now.
Yeah, that's really what it is. So I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you're Coach Heinrichs, what are you going to talk to him in the locker room about, Brendan? Because
I think what we just talked about, Tommy. I mean, somebody's got to shoot the rock. You got, again, first goal in basketball, put the ball in the net. Second goal, when you get the basketball, your first goal is to shoot and score. Your second goal is to pass. Like that, it's A and then B. Those are your plans.
And it really looks like B is A right now.
Yeah, everybody's like their first thought is to pass rather than going to the bet. I think that's what Coach Heinrichs is going to start with right now, Tommy.
And then besides that, I mean, I don't know what else to say. If I'm Coach, I'm wondering to see how the response is here, as we have updates coming in for you. But I mean, honestly, if you're Coach Heinrichs, all you can really say is, this team. If you look at the records, I understand that they're a tough team in the Central League. They've been in a lot of close games. They've been in 5 one-possession games. You can't, like, I wouldn't be sad. I don't think Coach Heinrichs can be too happy about how this game's tied right now, especially because the way it felt in the gym most of this first half, it was all Fords.
Yeah, Tommy, and you're absolutely right. I mean, there's nothing really to talk about, in my opinion, on the defensive end. They're playing great defense right now. It's just, I think all the struggles lie on the offensive end, and that's why it's 15-15 right now. Holding the team 15 points.
That's always good in high school basketball.
It's great. I mean, you just said they're averaging 45, 15 points in the first quarter, in the first half. That puts them at 30. I mean, you're playing great defense right now. And I don't think that Springfield's defense is being that punishing or suffocating the fact that you have 15 right now. I think the goal solely lies in the Haverford offense right now, Tommy.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see. Maybe we'll get one of these senior guards to step up here, start to take a couple more outside shots, and if they start to fall, maybe we'll see a barrage of threes, or maybe some backdoor cuts. I understand Trude's kind of the presence in the paint there for the Cougars, but I mean, try to attack him and get him maybe some foul trouble. It would also be a plan of attack.
And Tommy, to update you from just over there in Springfield, Delco, it is 31-6.
31-16.
31-16, excuse me, in the second quarter. So, good job by the Haverford girls basketball team.
Yeah, Haverford Lady Fords over there. They really look like trying to continue in their dominant fashion. We are going to take we're going to take a break here. We will come back towards the beginning of the second half for Haverford Sports Media, and I am Tommy Tuhill with Brendan McNichol. We'll be back shortly. And we are back at it here in Younger Gymnasium. Welcome back to this HSM broadcast of some Tuesday night rivalry basketball between the Haverford Fords and the Springfield Cougars. Brendan, this is basically a playoff game, and I'll tell you what, it's as tight as one right now with the score knotted up at 15 going into the second half.
And Tommy, could you ask for a better night on a Tuesday?
I don't think you could. I got to be honest, you know what else it is? It's a big week in Haverford High School right now. It's finals week. It's the end of the first semester. Kids are ready to cut loose a little bit, depending on, when their finals are. I know for me, I come in late tomorrow and I leave early on Thursday. I'm really going to enjoy my nice little long fiesta. Have a little siesta, get some nice rest.
Yeah, a little Chris Wentz siesta.
Little Chris Wentz siesta will never hurt anybody, Brendan. Here as we get started with the second half. Seidman to take it up here for the Fords. And like we said, Brendan, a little bit of offensive struggles, and really the only struggle that we saw was maybe not the amount of looks or the quality of looks, but the fact that none of the Fords really wanted to take those looks.
Yeah, they got to decide who wants to shoot the ball, who wants to be the biggest threat, and that at the end, really in this whole second quarter, nobody wanted to be a threat.
Not at all here, as there's a turnover forced by the Cougars. They're going to bring it up now. As we have Trude here with it. By the way, we apologize. Number 30 on Springfield's last name pronunciation is Biancanello.
Yes.
So we apologize. Some of this font's pretty small, and I thought I had pretty good eyes, but I guess maybe not so much. As Biancanello now has it for the Cougars, brings it up here. He's really been the focal point of this Cougars offense, Brendan, having himself about 8 points as Trude gives the Cougars their first lead of the game here with 6:50 left in this third quarter. It's now 17-15.
And Tommy, we talked about the offensive woes of Haverford. They only had 3 points in that second quarter, and they're continuing to struggle right now.
As Simon tries to change that, takes us jumper, does not go off the right side of the rim there. As Biancanello gets the ball up here for the Cougars. Looks to be directing traffic even without the ball. He's going to go over, gives it to Crate, who gives it to O'Donnell. O'Donnell looking over to Trude. Jumper no good, rebounded by Wiener. And let's see if the Fords maybe try to run here. Simon gave it over to Gannon, over to Wright. He slices right in. Tommy Wright gives himself another pair of points, tying this game back up at 17-all, 6 left in this third quarter.
Yeah, and Tommy Wright's just back in this game in this second half because he got in a little bit of foul trouble in that first half. So maybe he's the spark plug the Fords needed, Tommy.
He might just be here as O'Donnell gives it over to Biancanello. And he's going to start to man this offense now. Gave it over to Hoey, now over to O'Donnell. He's going to try to drive in his layup up and in. And just like that, it's starting to get a little back and forth here, Brendan. 19-17, 5.5 left in the third quarter here. Cougars lead the Fords in Younger Gymnasium. Now Gannon gives it over to Wright, now over to Wiener. Wiener looking around. Tries to dive in, does not like the look that he has, kicks it out to Simon. Simon starting to get a little phantom double team here, kicks it over to Wright. Wright covered by Trude, and they're going to call Wright for a carry, and we're going to get a substitution here by the Fords. Looks like Wiener's going to come out, and Gorman Bright will check in.
And that's not great for Tommy Wright.
Nah, it's not great, but I'll tell you what, I mean, the Fords big man has really been the heart and soul of this team, especially on the offensive side, which is not something you really see a lot coming from the Fords big man, especially since they have a lot of shooters. As Trude, though, makes his way into the paint, extends this Cougar lead to 4, 21-17, 4:45 left in this third quarter. As now the Fords are going to try to answer right back. As we have Bright here. Looking around, gives it over to Heinrichs, now over to Gannon. Gannon looks over to Bright. Some nice screens here by the Fords, but no one's really getting free. Now Heinrichs dishes it over to Gannon in the corner. His outside jumper, no good. Trude and Wright fight for it. Biancanello ends up with it. And now here come the Cougars trying to extend this lead just a little bit longer. Here as Kreit gives it over to Trude. Trude's had a pretty good start here to this second half for the Cougars. Really been a force in the paint. As now he's going to kick it over to Kreit. Kreit now looking, gives it over to Biancanello. His outside shots really helped the Cougars stay into this one. As now Kreit just is over to Trude. He's going to take an outside shot of his own. No good. Ball loose off of the foot of Gorman Bright. And now we are going to get substitutions. Heinrichs gets subbed out. Brian Wiener comes back in. And right there, I mean, great chance for the forwards to, get a stop and maybe try to get an answer here. Just did not happen. And now we have a turnover here, 5-second delay. Finally over here, really looks like there's not much that the Cougars are really going to be able to get going here. They really haven't. They've been struggling along the baseline to get any inbound passes in, Brendan.
Yeah, Tommy, and that's because of how great Haverford's done on defense. That's something they really shined through in the first half, and we're seeing it here in the second half.
Here as Simon went up through three people, layup no good. Might have been some contact, no call though. 21-17 still here, 3:15 left in this third quarter between the Cougars of Springfield and your Haverford Fords here. Big game for both teams. Springfield on the very outside of their bubble, really playing for any chance of postseason play right now. They're basically playing the playoffs for the next 2 weeks. And the Fords here just on the inside of the 22 team in the district. Only the top 24 make it, Brendan. So you got to play perfect here. It's Biancanello from outside. No good. Rebounded by Kreit. He's going to go up, and he's going to get a putback. And now we're going to get a timeout here by Coach Heinrichs. Now the lead extends to 6 for the Cougars. 23-17, 2:45 left in this third quarter. Brendan, what do the Fords got to do here? They're reeling.
I'm sure Coach Heinrichs is going to be reiterating his halftime speech. I mean, so a lot more with the offense. They're still struggling. Only 2 points in this third quarter. And, I mean, they're still doing fine on defense. I mean, Springfield, they got 8. So, you can't be angry about that. I mean, it's really, I think it lies in their offensive woes, Tommy. But, Tommy, I'll tell you what. If you're looking for a new house, Wagner Real Estate will help you find the right home for you and your family. The real estate professionals at Wagner are Havertown locals who have passed down the real estate savvy through 4 generations. Call 610-446-2300 to set up a consultation with Wagner Real Estate today. Thank you to our sponsors at Wagner Real Estate.
I don't think we say it enough how much we are thankful for Wagner Real Estate and all they do here for us at Haverford Sports Media here, as we have both huddles here in front of both respective benches. Clearing out now. Brendan, who's a player here we got to look to for the Fords to get some life getting put back into this gymnasium?
Tommy, right? I think they're a little scary with him right now because of how many fouls he's got. He's in some trouble. But, I mean, he has the only points of this first half, the second half. And he did a great job in that first quarter, of bringing the intensity and bringing points.
He really did here, as now it kind of looks like we get the starting 5 back out here for the Fords. Gannon now got over from Bright. They're going to play a game of catch here. Little interesting zone. Wiener's going to get a mid-range jumper. No good. Wright getting the rebound, fighting, looking to kick it out to a shooter. They're going to go to the corner. Wiener didn't like it. His dribble and dish back out worked. Now we have Gannon over to Wiener, back over to Gannon. They're really nice crisp passing here by this Fords team trying to pick apart this Springfield zone. Let's see if they find anything. They had Bright back towards the baseline. He got Kreit to jump. That'll be a foul here. Brendan, what's that? I'm trying to get a good look here. Kind of looked like it was like a 3-2 zone over there. Is that really what we're seeing here? I'm trying to get a good vantage point.
So, but I'll tell you what, the only reason that Fords are still on offense right now is because of Tommy Wright. That was a big rebound he had, and they really weren't able to have that when he wasn't in.
Here's Hoey tried to tip that back. All good, though. Simon was able to get it. Now he's going to give it over to Bright. Kicks it back out to Wright. And this zone defense is starting to give the Fords a little bit of trouble. Brendan? So we have a reach-in shot here, or a reach-in foul, my fault.
But Tommy, they're finding themselves second chance opportunities, which is different from what we've seen throughout the game, and they're going to need to keep generating those to get back in this game.
They really are, Brendan, but they're also going to have to try to get some of these opportunities to actually go if they want to try to cut into this lead, as time is kind of dwindling a little bit in this third quarter. Wiener drives, fadeaway, jumper, up and in. 23-19, 1:20 left in this third quarter. Cuts the lead down to 4 here for the Fords. Now look at this, the battle of the zone defenses. Now it looks like the Fords going to a 2-3. Crate got by Seidman, shot tipped by Seidman. Pretty good recovery there by the Catholic commit. And now Bright takes it, and looks like the Fords are going to try to fly. Seidman, transition up, no good. No foul called, rebounded by Trude. And here come the Cougars. Going to try to slow it down a little bit. Hoey, man in the basketball, gives it over to O'Donnell. O'Donnell guarded by Bright. Bright almost tipped that loose. O'Donnell's going to give it back to Hoey. Hoey now. Coach Heinrichs in the Fords bench pleading for a walk from the officials. They will not get any, though.
And Tommy, we're just after that last play, we're continuing to seeing both teams struggle in fast breaks. Nobody really able to finish the rim.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been a thing that's plagued the Fords all season, as Seidman gets this pass, tips it. Now he's going to go to try to get a fast break, loses the ball. Fords will retain possession, though. I mean, the Fords, it's kind of plagued them a lot this season, Brendan. Their inability to finish at the rim.
And Tommy, for a team that's on the smaller side with 4 guards, you'd think they'd want to move fast in transition, but they really don't often push.
Yeah, they really don't, which is something interesting here. Is right now, got the inbound pass from Seidman. He'll leak it back out to him. Pretty sure the Fords are going to wait, take the last shot of the quarter here. Seidman, guarded by O'Donnell. My fault, not O'Donnell. He was guarded by the defender. Seidman tried to take the shot, doesn't work. He got the pass down to the baseline to Bright, who drew the foul. Great job there.
Great find. I mean, he knew he didn't have a shot. He had 2 guys in his face fading away. So he found Gorman Bright.
And with .2 left, Crite will get his 3rd personal foul. Bright will go to the line to shoot 2. First shot off the front side of the rim here.
This next one's big, Tommy. Make it a 3-point game going into the 4th quarter.
1 possession.
Not a bad spot to be in.
Not at all. Especially considering the way that this Fords team can shoot their outside shots. Right, second shot from the line, up and in. And this will be the end of the 3rd quarter. After 3, the Cougars take the lead. Springfield up 23-20 on the Fords here. We got 8 minutes left of regulation basketball, Brendan, in a game that's pretty huge for both teams. What do the Fords got to do to escape the jaws of defeat here?
I mean, Tommy, to tell you the truth, they got it. We talked about it. I mean, only 5 points in that 3rd quarter isn't where you want to be. And again, Tommy Wright's presence is going to be huge. Is who's going to start making shots? And we've talked about in the past, it doesn't take a lot for this Fords team to start hitting shots. I mean, they're very good beyond the arc, but they're streaky, and that struggles have been shown today. So it's all in the Fords shooting, in my opinion.
It really is going to be interesting here as we have a score update here for the girls' game over in Springfield. Lady Fords up 36-22 in the 3rd. Battle of 2 Central League heavyweight contenders there. Be very interesting to see where those 2 match up further down the road. I believe we're going to see some playoff basketball from those 2 in the Central League.
And you want to talk about some dogs, Tommy? Lady Fords are some dogs.
Number 1 team in District 1. Undefeated. Never lost, as the great LeVar Ball would say. And, besides that, number 1 team, they beat Abington, who's the number 2 team in District 1. So don't tell me they play a weak schedule, and don't tell me they play teams that aren't any good.
They played the people they claimed were 2nd best, so who are you supposed to beat?
I don't know who else you're supposed to beat, Brendan. It'll be very interesting. Looks like a district tournament might for girls PIAA District 1 6A basketball might run through Younger Gymnasium, and I'm very excited to see how that goes. But right now, we're in for a good last 8 minutes here as the Cougars are up on the Fords by 3 here, 23-20, 7:50 left. And the Fords here got to get a big win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Here's Adams has it for the Cougars. Gives it over to Flaherty. Flaherty looking, gives it over to Hoey. Hoey guarded by Gannon. Not much going over. Trude looking. He's been pretty big in the paint so far in this second half for the Cougars team, Brendan. Here's now Flaherty guarded by Seidman. We'll see if he's able to pick his pocket soon. Hoey now going in, driving, layup, up and in. That'll make it. That'll make the lead 5 there for the Cougars. 27 minutes left. The Fords got to get a big answer here, Brendan, maybe to try to shift some momentum.
They need it, Tommy. I mean, now you're down 5. They did a good job. I mean, cutting their losses to 3 at the end of the third, but it's time to turn it on.
It really is. Here's now Simon has it. Kicks it over to Wiener. Wiener thought about going to the rim. He lost the ball. Now it'll go over to the Cougars. That's something that's kind of plagued the Fords too, is some costly turnovers late in the game, Brendan, during this little bad luck streak. Here's now we have Simon cutting from the turnover from right. His layup up, no good. Rebounded by nobody. Ball was loose, but I believe possession will stay with the Fords. Again, inability to finish at the rim, Brendan.
Yeah, continued struggles, and we talked about it earlier. Continued struggles from the rim, and it's same story, different day.
Here as they get to Bright cutting on the baseline. He's going to get a layup up and in. That'll cut it back down to 2. I got to be honest, Brendan, it looks like we might have to get onto the shoulders of Gorman Bright. He might have to carry this Ford's offense here.
Yeah, I mean, Gorman's caught fire in a lot of games, and he might just be due, Tommy.
He might just be due. Here's Hoey gives it over to Adams. Adams guarded by Wiener. Adams looking, almost lost his footing. Tipped again by Wright. Wright's been a bloodhound coming in, looking for any of these loose balls here. Because now we have Trude guarded by Wright in the post. He's looking, doesn't get anything. Adams with an outside jumper, no good. Rebounded by Wright. Gives it over to Seidman. And now here come the Fords. 5:40 left in the fourth quarter. Seidman got a pick and roll opportunity. Gives it over to Wright. He's going to take a shot. And it's good! Tommy Wright from beyond the arc ties it all up here for the Fords. 25 all, 5.5 left in regulation.
And the last guy you would have expected on the Fords roster, so it's big.
I'll tell you what, Tommy Wright's absolutely showed out today, and he is probably my player of the game so far. Here now, as it's all tied up, there's a little bit of juice kicking in the Younger Gymnasium now, as Hoey has it for this Cougar offense. Just like that, 5 straight points. As now we have an Adams 3 up, no good. Rebounded again by Wright. And he's going to let it settle down here. He's going to let Seidman get ready and set up the offense. Another little phantom pick there. They're going to have Seidman go up to the rim. Up, no call. Lots of contact. And no made basket there. As now the Cougars try to go for a loose ball. There's going to be a tie-up, I'm assuming. Jump ball, possession arrow with the Fords. There's a turnover, and who else? But Kevin Gannon and Tommy Wright jumping on loose balls.
And Tommy, I think that's the first jump ball we've seen all game, which is very rare in high school basketball. And that couldn't have been a better time.
Here's now we have a timeout called. I believe it might have been from Coach Heinrichs. I'm starting to sense a little shift here, Brendan, and just a little shift might be all the Fords need.
Yeah, they're 5 straight points now, Tommy, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
It really couldn't have here. We have 4:45 left in regulation. 25-25 game here. I mean, Brendan, we've seen some pretty tight games here played by the Fords. Obviously the first broadcast we had went all the way down to the wire against Lower Marion. We've seen a buzzer beater not go the Fords' way against Marple later in the season when going into the skid. So I mean, they've weathered the storm. The thing I think that kind of helps the Fords here is that something might be trickling into the mind of the Springfield team. They're 1-4 in one possession games.
Yeah, and that's not where you want to be. And Haverford's had their woes, like you just talked about, in the 1-point games. But I think they see it as now is the time that we gotta right the ship,
Yeah, I really do, and I think the Springfield team's starting to think not again, because I mean, really, neither team's played their best game of basketball, but at the same time, like the Fords really haven't been able to get anything that well going on the offensive side of the ball besides Gorman Bright and Tommy Wright really getting a lot of the stuff going. And right now it's I think from a team that continues to lose one possession games, the thought might just be creeping in there. It'll be interesting to see if that happens late. But right there, a turnover by the Fords. That's costly there. They had a chance to take the lead, but it does not matter now. So the Cougars will have a chance. Crate gives it over to O'Donnell. O'Donnell with it. Kicks it back over to Crate. Over to Hoey. Hoey guarded by Gannon. He looks to cut. Kick it over to O'Donnell. Not much really going for him. He's going to try to drive in. His shot up. It falls in.
I'm not sure about that foul, Tommy.
I really didn't like that, especially if they weren't going to call on the sideman drive down there.
Yeah.
I don't understand the call there. Wiener was pretty straight up. My fault. It looks like they're calling it on.
I don't understand that.
I really didn't get that call at all. It was very perplexing to me. They're going to call it on Seidman. It's going to be his second personal. Big chance here for O'Donnell. His second shot, or he's got a shot from the line. Gets the three-point play to go. That means it's a three-point lead now. 4:05 left, 28-25 Cougars.
Yeah, Tommy, and especially in a game where you really have to let the players play. That's a tough call to make. But Ford's looking to come back.
Here we go as we have Wright over to Seidman. Another phantom play there. We're going to get another whistle, and it looks like the refs might start to interject themselves here right towards the end, Brendan. That's always fun.
Always creates for an interesting time, Tom.
As now we're going to have a foul called here on number 31. That's going to be Trude. That's going to be his first. Here's we get the inbounds over to Wiener. Kicks it over to Simon towards the Ford's bench. He's going to drive in. Look, gives it over. They're going to kick it back out the right. He's going to shoot the three. No good. Rebounded by Crate.
And a great cut by Gorman Bright. I'm surprised he didn't go up with it, Tommy. I don't know why he didn't go up with that, because he had a great backdoor cut. And Cookie Simon with a good find.
And we all know that Gorman Bright does have a very a wide variety of finishes when it comes up at the rim. A variety of a layup package, but you know what I think he saw. I think he saw a wide open Tommy Wright, it's really been his game, so why not give him the ball? There's Tommy Wright, poked it free, but Hoey was able to get that loose ball. He's going to chuck up a layup, and he gets it in. Nice little friendly roll here from the rim. Makes it this lead once again 5. It's now 30-25. Under 3 minutes left. As Simon absolutely drops Hoey right at the top of the key. But Hoey's going to poke the ball free. Possession stays with the Fords. That was an absolutely disgusting move by Googie Simon right there.
I would agree, Tommy. He dropped him.
Here as Bright now gives it over to Seidman. Seidman looking to maybe try to get himself going here. If there's one player that could get real streaky real fast, we all know who it is, and it's number 4 wearing white. Here is Bright, gives it over to Wright in the post. No good. He goes up. There is a foul call, and that's going to be one that Springfield doesn't like, but you know what?
You got it, yeah.
I think I don't want to be that guy, but I think it's the art of the makeup call, Brendan.
Tit for tat, yeah, Tom, of course. I agree.
That's going to be on Trude once again. That's going to be his second personal. Big shots here from the Ford's big man. See if he can cut this down to one possession. As the first shot doesn't get in. But we will get a substitution here. Gannon will be subbed out for Heinrichs. 2:29 left. 30-25 here. Tommy Wright to shoot the second half of his foul shots. And the next one goes in. Deficit's now cut down 2-4 here. 30-26 Cougars. 2:29 left. Be interesting to see what kind of pressure we get here. There's another timeout needed to be used here by the Cougars. Anything along the baselines, it really looks like the Cougars are lost, Brendan.
Yeah, because Haverford's bringing the pressure, like we just saw there. And I think Coach Heinrichs is going to throw another wrinkle, I'm sure. Springfield's going to approach whatever Haverford just throws in. And I believe in last year's PIAA Coach of the Year, Keith Heinrichs, and I think he's going to throw another wrinkle at him.
I really think he will. I'm pretty sure he's got a pretty wide variety of defensive schemes that he can throw at this Cougar team, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
And Tommy, Coach Keith Heinrichs and all these players, they live in Havertown. And
They do.
And if you're looking for a home in Havertown, Wagner Real Estate will help you find the right home for you and your family. The real estate professionals at Wagner are Havertown locals who have passed down the real estate savvy through 4 generations. Call 446-2300. Set up a conversation with Wagner Real Estate today.
Thank you again to our sponsor, Wagner Real Estate, and all that you do to help us out here at Haverford Sports Media, as we have a good 2.5 minutes left in this fourth quarter for you, ladies and gentlemen. Cougars up by 4, 30-26 here. Big game for both teams. Let's see what happens on the baseline. Intercepted by Wright. And great defense again. There's that wrinkle you might have been talking about there, Brendan. And let's see if the Fords can get that turnover to lead into some points. Simon now has it for the Fords. He's going to dish it over to Wright and down the baseline. They're going to call the block on Crate.
His feet were moving. It was the right call.
Great call there by the official. And that is Aiden Crate's fourth foul. One more, and Crate will be kicked out of this game. Just so we know, 16 fouls now for the Cougars. One more, and the Fords will go into the bonus, Brendan. So they might be able to get some foul shots in here if they get a little aggressive. Here's Wright's going to go kick it over to Simon. Now over to Gannon. Wiener has it now. Over to Bright. Good movement here. Looks like Springfield's changed to a man. Now we have Simon. Dishes it over. Wide open, Tommy Wright, and he's got it up and in. And Tommy Wright gets another basket to go. 30-28, 147 left in this fourth quarter, Brendan.
Something interesting to realize, I mean, we talk about the foul coming into play. Fouls were a big problem for Haverford in the first quarter. I believe they had 6 or 7. And now Springfield finds himself in the exact opposite situation, but not in the right time of the game, you know?
Not at all. I'll tell you what, we talked about it a little bit in the first half. We talked about it a lot here, especially that last turnover there from the Cougars. But these baseline pressures, Brendan, have really been throwing these Cougars for a tizzy here. I'm very intrigued to see what goes on.
It's dialed up here, Tommy. We'll sort of wait and see.
What's Coach Heinrich got for these Cougars that they're not expecting? Or do we get a nice counter punch here by the head coach, Kevin McCormick? We're going to find out. As the inbound goes over to Trude. Now gives it over to Hoey. He's going to reach in. There's going to be a whistle. We're going to get a foul on Gannon here. That's going to be his second. Only Haverford's second team foul of the game. They got a lot of fouls to give, Brendan. As Biancanello, how do we say his last name again? Biancanello, guarded by Wiener. Now there's going to be a foul called on Wiener. That'll be his first. Now here, I'm pretty sure this is where Coach Heinrich is going to start to get into the foul game here, Brendan. Try to save some clock. Here's Biancanello, guarded by Wiener. Once again, he's going to bring it up. They're going to call another foul on Wiener. I thought that one was probably not that well deserved.
Yeah, a little ticky-tack, but hey, deep in the game. And we talked about this before. It's big. You cannot, and Coach Heinrich preaches. He definitely preaches this to players. You cannot allow the officials to make the calls for you. You gotta stay away from those ticky-tack fouls.
Absolutely. Here is Biancanello once again. Man, up with Wiener, and that's Brian Wiener's third foul. You can't. There's no way they're drawing this up to get one of the Ford's more prominent guards to foul 3 times. So I think this is just Wiener not being able to guard Biancanello. Because now they're going to let it go to O'Donnell instead, and he thought about the outside shot, decides not to, gives it over to Trude. Wiener here, O'Donnell, the outside shot, no good, rebounded by Seidman. And now with 1:15 left in the fourth quarter, Brendan, we have Seidman with the ball. Down by 2, he turns it over to Hoey. Oh my goodness. Now it's up to the Ford's defense again here, Brendan, to try to get a turnover. Biancanello had a little pass at Hoey. They're going to try to trap him here in the corner, Brendan. Maybe try to get a backcourt. Does not work. Hoey now back to over Biancanello. Over to Adams. Adams cross court to Hoey. Let's see when the Fords decide to foul here. They're going to play it around now over to O'Donnell in the corner. He's going to drive baseline, kick it over. Really nothing. Now Gannon's finally going to foul. Interesting to see no one trying to jump up for any of these balls thrown cross court in the air.
Yeah, it surprises me. Nobody wants to try to make a play on a ball or anticipate anything. But again, to be fair, you don't want to get burnt. And they did find themselves with a minute 20 left. You don't want to get burnt and go down 2 scores.
There's Wright, tried to get the true, did not work. Now Hoey has it. Over to Biancanello. Be interesting, when do the Forts decide to foul here, and Wiener's going to be the one to foul. 32.9 left. It'll put the Cougars into the bonus. I don't understand why it has to be Brian Wiener to foul here when he's one of your more prominent players.
Well, you got 30 seconds left, so you'll be all right.
Now we have substitutions in here. Bright is in for Heinrichs. First shot up and in for Adams.
Tom, you talked about that personnel choice, especially when we have Gorman Bright just sub in. I'm not sure why Keith Heinrichs wouldn't have taken those fouls.
Yeah, interesting to me. Adams' second shot up and in. That's big. That makes this a 4-point game. Here now we got to see what the Fords do. Brendan, do they try to get it? Do they try to chalk up a 3, or do you think they go for 2 and still play the foul game?
I'm not sure what Coach Heinrichs is going to draw up. You never know.
Here's Simon now driving, kicks it over.
With how streaky they've been from the line, I would go for 2.
Now from Wiener. They're looking over. They got to go here soon. Wiener over to Gannon. He got his man to jump. Now he's going to take a jumper. Up and in!
And that was a fantastic look. Great pump fake.
Now the officials are talking.
There might be a problem with the clock. I think Coach Heinrichs was pleading for the clock to be maybe
Bumped up a little bit.
A few more seconds added on there. He was pointing at it right when the timeout was taken. They're going to the score table to fix that, I think.
I think they're going to try to go here with 13 and a half, I think, is maybe when the timeout was taken. Give or take. Gives them a couple more seconds. We have the student section, also known as the parking lot, giving out the suggestion to the scorers table. This is big right here, Brendan. We were talking about it. Again, there's been some trouble on the baseline for this Cougar team. It'll be interesting to see what the Fords draw up here. I mean, right after, if they somehow do not force a turnover, you got to get a foul.
And Tom, we talked about this as being overarching, as this being a huge point in the season for Haverford. Do they want to sneak their way into the playoffs, keep their way, kind of like fall more in a comfortable spot, especially going into their Lower Marion game, which we know is going to be tough at Lower Marion. So it's all dependent on what happens here, Tom.
Well, now they added about another second on, 12.7 left now, as we will have the Cougars ready to inbound. As here we have the 4 seniors and Keith Heinrichs, the junior, in the huddle now, talking to each other, making sure they have their game plan set up. Now we're going. Here we go. Inbound pass. They got it down to the corner. Nothing works, and they got a 5-second. I believe they forced a turnover again. 5-second delay. We had clock tick off. It should be 12.7 now.
Yeah, it should be 12.7. It should be the same because the ball was never inbounded.
Yeah, it was never inbounded. I thought it was for a second, but it wasn't. Springfield tried to get cute there, tried to do.
That's on the baseline, yeah.
And it did not work. Now there's a timeout called, as both teams will talk it over again. This is getting pretty close and down to the wire, Brendan. We got a great 12.7 left.
And Tommy, you really got to wonder what happens here for the Haverford. What does Coach Heinrichs draw up? I mean, we just saw the sub in of Keith Heinrichs. I assume when Haverford tries to find themselves on offense, they sub back in Brian Wiener.
I'm pretty sure I saw Wiener slap the scorers table and say that he was subbing in.
Gotcha. Once
they went to the offense. And I'll tell you what, if you're Haverford, you might want to get the ball in his hands because Brian Wiener has made a lot of last-second shots.
We've seen a lot of them, Tommy, whether it was at the end of a half, at the end of the game. Big Tommy. He's a big-time player.
He really is, and big-time players are meant for big-time moments. Now we have the inbound in, and people are rising to their feet now. Wiener to inbound for the Fords, 12.7 left. Now the Cougars do have one to give. There's no one in. Ball was able to get inbounded over to Gannon. Now Wright Quarterback in the offense gives it over to Simon. That's who they wanted. Simon now rolls, goes up, in layup, and it's good! Googie Simon beats the buzzer!
And there's problems with the clock, Tommy. There's going to be about 3 seconds left on the clock.
Should be a timeout called.
And Tommy, I'll tell you what,
4 seconds left.
It's feeling real eerie. It's feeling a lot like that Marple game.
Please don't say it, Brendan. Please don't say it.
With about 3 seconds, it's feeling pretty eerie.
Not deja vu, Brendan. Please no deja vu. Please no deja vu. We can't talk about that, Brendan. That's bad vibes. Bad vibes, Brendan. We can't have that.
Positive vibes only.
Positive vibes only, Brendan. Positive vibes only. All right?
But as a truly unbiased journalist, Tommy, I have to bring it up. I'm sorry.
I know. But, Googie Simon just hit that big shot. We got Mr. Simon down the road in Virginia watching. Very excited.
Yeah, shout out to the Simon family in Virginia. Shout out.
Yeah, they're all pumped. They just saw that big shot get made by Googie. They're all excited. Now you're over here bringing up the buzzer beater loss to Marple. No one wants to talk about that. But, Brendan, let me get into your mind right here. Maybe the mind of Coach Heinrich, since there's 2.1 left. From that learning experience they got from Marple, what do they do now?
Don't get burnt. I don't know. I mean,
just sit back?
They're not the greatest three-point shooting team. You know they're really not that much of a threat from long range. They've made a lot of in-tight shots. And obviously you have that experience now, and you just can't get beat. Marple did a great job in that game of imposing their will and making an unbelievable play. And you just got to hope that Haverford can stop Springfield doing the same.
One person I think they just can't let shoot beyond the arc no matter how far it is Biancanello, number 30. They're going to have a Hail Mary pass, tip, nothing. Wright throws it down, no call. They wanted a foul on Wright. Springfield bench is absolutely irate.
You got to let them play.
Yelling all at the refs.
Got to let them play.
We're going to overtime, Brendan. We got free basketball.
Oh, yes.
Now the officials are talking.
You can't make a call now, Tommy.
I don't think you can make a call now.
No, there's no way.
There's no way you can make a call.
We're fine.
They should be fine.
Yeah, they'll be all right.
We got a good one. We have free basketball, and you know what? I'm sorry to anybody who's taking finals early tomorrow, but you might have to stay up for this one.
Yeah, if you're a father out there watching this with your son, be the cool dad. Let your son stay up. More basketball.
It's always great to be the cool dad. Now, just so everyone knows here, coming back in, Haverford Sports Media Broadcast, big game, 22nd ranked team in the district. Haverford hosting the 31st ranked Cougars. This is basically a playoff game for both teams here. Haverford trying to push themselves out of the bubble and more into a comfortable place to get into the district playoffs, while Springfield is fighting for their playoff lives right now. 3 minutes of extra basketball. Possession arrow towards the Cougars, and they are in the bonus. The Fords need to draw one more foul for themselves to get into the bonus here, which will get them to 1-1s.
And Tommy, it's crazy to say that because they found themselves only one foul with about 2 minutes left.
And then Brian Wiener really got himself into some foul trouble there.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. We'll see how the substitutions work. There's a body by Hoey on Gannon. Does not matter. Cougars win the tip. And we're back with some overtime basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Trude over to Hoey. Hoey looking guarded by Bright. Doesn't really see anything. Over to Biancanello. Now back over to Trude. Trude's going to shoot an outside shot. And it's good. Trude from beyond the arc. Wright didn't even try to contest it. No hand in the face, and he buries it. 35-32. Springfield with 3:30 left. I believe we now have our great tech guy, Christopher Wentz, was able to come in and save the day, give you guys the scoreboard, as now we have the oop up to Simon, and it's good. Tommy Wright again, another assist.
We saw a play like that earlier in the game that Googie, he missed the layup, but just to see it again.
Great play design there by the Fords and Coach Heinrichs once again. And I got to be honest, I don't know who draws up the offensive plays. I feel bad. It's all good. All right, we had some mic troubles. It wouldn't be a Haverford Sports Media broadcast without it. Biancanello gets it going over to Trude. Trude already hit an outside shot. He's looking. Doesn't really see anything. Tries to get a cutting O'Donnell. Doesn't work. Back over to Biancanello. We're going to slow it down here. 1 point lead for the Cougars. 35-34, 2.5 left. Kreit was left wide open. He doesn't try to get anything. Tries to dish it down to Trude. No good. Simon's going to run. Fast break. Tries to draw the foul, and he will.
Tommy, I'll tell you, Kreit tried to get way through Q with it. He was
He was wide open on the baseline.
Nobody was 10. There wasn't anybody in a 10-foot radius of him. He should have just put it up. He tried to get a little dribble action, and he should just put it up, Tommy.
O'Donnell, that's O'Donnell. His first personal foul. Front end of a 1-and-1 here for Seidman. Big foul shot's coming. Seidman's first shot from the line is missed. Hoey gets the rebound, and that is big here for the Forts. 2:30 left. 34-35. People are asking if it was a shooting foul or not. Apparently it was a 1-and-1. Apparently the officials called a shooting foul and they went against it.
I'm not sure of that because they were only at 6 fouls.
I have no idea, Brendan. I did not see the hand signal. I thought it was a 1-and-1, but maybe we're wrong, and now we're going to get a timeout called here.
And I'm sure Coach Irons will let the officials know about that one.
Yeah, no one is I think everyone's irate. And look, I mean, the whole entire coaching staff, everyone's telling them, you said it was a shooting foul. It was 2 shots. I think that's another reason why we didn't see anybody try to crash the boards there for the Forts. But you can't let the officials determine the outcome of the game, even though they are interjecting themselves, Brendan. You cannot let that happen if you're the Forts here. This game means too much to you. 2:04 left. 1-point deficit. You have the possession arrow. Both teams are in the bonus. You just got to go out there and you got to play You got to play the defense that you've been playing for most of this game.
They've been playing great up until that. Really, we saw the 3, and that. The only mistake was just somebody got somebody got miscounted for, left open, and they ended up making a mistake to save yourself. So if you're Haverford here, you have to be happy with your performance, and you have to keep playing that same strong defense you played the entire time.
Yes, it'll be very interesting to see here. Now remember, I know Wiener's at 4 fouls. I know Kreitz at 4 fouls for the Cougars. I think Wright's at 3, if not 4. It'll be very interesting to see how this works out here. So now we have Hoey checked in, gives it over to Trude. He's already hit an outside shot. He's going to give it over to Biancanello, who's really the main focus. He was helping keep the Cougars in that first half, keep it close with the Fords in the first half. It's been the head of it. And they're going to call a reach here.
Fords are trying to get that trap. Interesting call.
They're going to call it on Googie Seidman. That's his 4th personal. It'll be interesting to see here. Front end of a 1-and-1, Biancanello checking in. Or at the line here. See, this is the first one. It's a live ball, ladies and gentlemen. First shot up and in, gets the friendly roll. These rims have been very giving to the Cougars here in Younger Gymnasium. Here comes the second end. Even if he makes it, it'll still be a 1-possession game. His second shot up, no good. Rebounded by Wright. He'll kick it over to Bright, and the Fords will get set up. Seidman guarded by Hoey. We'll look over his options. 1:35 left. Right now with the ball. Gives it over to Seidman. Seidman went up, blocked by Kreit. Fords are still down 2 now, and we'll see how this half-court pressure goes for the Fords. Hoey now bringing it up. Doesn't seem to work. Nothing really working here. Now they're finally going to foul.
And Brian Wiener was trying to make it clear that he could not foul. At that point in the game, he has 4.
Now it'll be Gannon who gave the foul. That'll be his 4th now. Now we're going to have Biancanello going back in, shooting the 1-and-1 here. He went 1 for 1 in the 1-and-1. Last time up, big shots here. First one off, rebounded by Seidman. And let's see what the Fords do here. 1:05 left. Wright has it, looking over, gives it over to Bright. Bright looking, over to Wright. Thought about the 3, decides not to. Kicks it over. Gannon from the corner. No good. Rebounded by Trude. Gives it over to Hoey. Now we're under a minute left, Brendan. And Wright ends up fouling. Still a 1-and-1 here, but that's going to be it. After that, it'll be double bonus. Or my fault, I believe now they're in the double bonus.
Biancanello has had some woes from the line, so Oh, excuse me, not Biancanello. This is the one.
Howie.
Oh, sorry, I thought Biancanello got fouled.
Howie's first shot up and in. Makes it a 3-point game here. One more shot to go. 48 seconds left, 37-34. Possession arrow with the Fords. Cougars in the double bonus, Fords in the single bonus. This is the big shot coming up here. Howie's shot up and in. 4-point game now. Big possession. Here comes Gannon. Gives it over to Wiener. Wiener tries to give it over, stolen by O'Donnell. He'll go up and lay it in. And that might just be the nail in the coffin, Brendan.
It's still 2-possession game, but you need a 3.
30 seconds left here. Simon playing around with Howie, looking. Gives it over to Wright. He's going to drive, try to go to the baseline. Up, no good. Rebounded by O'Donnell. They're going to try to maybe play the foul game now, and they will. Gannon will foul out and foul Howie. And the Springfield Cougars will come into the Younger Gymnasium and knock off the Haverford Fords. This one by a final score of 40-35. My fault. Actually, it's not the final of 40-35, but they will knock off the Fords will be knocked off here. This gets very shaky now for the Fords heading into the future, Brendan, with a lot of more challenging games left. That's Howie's first shot from the line, up and in. I mean, they got the number 2 team in the district on the road next in Lower Marion.
Who wants their blood after
that loss.
After a loss early in the season.
And we have a whistle by the official here. They don't even know what they were whistling about, so now they got to talk about it. I believe they have just called a flagrant foul on the high school pep band, Brendan, for playing the trombone. That's weak.
That's pretty weird.
That is weak.
I'm not sure how you lump them into the
I don't understand how you make that call, but you know what?
just a guy trying to play a trombone. What's the point?
You know what? Haverford Sports Media's very own Thomas St. Joseph is in that pep band. I believe that is an attack on the high school pep band right there.
And an attack on Haverford Sports Media as a whole, Tommy.
You know what?
Maybe even Haverford High School as a whole. I think it's systematic, Tommy.
I can't believe it there as Howie misses the shot. Would it be too inappropriate for the trumpet sound to be played?
You know what they should play? Our favorite news clip of all time, Tommy. They're herbivores. They live in water, and they eat grass.
It looks like we're going to get the second shot from the playing of the trombone.
I just realized what the odd call.
I don't get that. I don't get
This
that.
point in the game, okay. I mean,
Like
what
the
are we
game
doing
was
here?
like the
It's
game
too
was
extra.
basically out of reach, and the officials were just like, you know what, we're done with the trombone. As I'm pretty sure we have someone playing the trumpet a little bit, messing with
Ball
it.
don't lie, right?
I guess ball don't lie. I don't know what's going on here, Brendan.
Sometimes they didn't call an attack for.
I don't know what else they want. I mean, forget what button on this sound system plays the trumpet. Wah, 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 but if I knew it, I would have hit it.
But it's an odd point in the game.
They could have teed us up too. Now we have Crike going up, absolutely
And that's
blocked.
just to show poor sportsmanship.
That was poor sportsmanship by
the sport of the Springfield Cougars. Springfield Cougars. Like, what are we doing here?
You're up by 7. Just dribble the ball out. But you know what? It is a rivalry game. These teams don't like each other, but good job by Googie Simon showing that there's no disrespect. You don't come in here and disrespect Younger Denise. Good job as O'Donnell now is going to give it over to Howie. And that'll most likely do it here. Wright's still playing tough defense. And that'll be it. The Cougars come in, keep their playoff hopes alive, beat the Fords by a final score of 41-34. We saw a lot of wacky stuff tonight. But once again, it'll be a tough road for the Fords here to make sure they fight for their playoff lives. It starts on the 26th over in Lower Marion Township as they take on the number 2 ranked Aces. And after that, they'll get a couple more home games. They get their senior night. They will also, on the 7th, it'll be the last game of the season, or the regular season. Hopefully not the whole season. And I know that'll be a very special night. They host Garnet Valley. We will also, if I have seen correctly, they will be honoring late baseball coach Mike Essery with T-shirt sales. And it will definitely be an emotional night. So we'll see. There's a lot of basketball still left to be played. They are still in playoff contention, folks. They just got it's do or die now.
Yep.
So that's really all we can have here. I mean, great effort given by Tommy Wright. And this Fords team played pretty good defense. I don't really know what else you would want from them. Just very, very odd and not a great way to end. Always leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you lose to a rival, Brendan.
It hurts more than anything, Tommy.
Especially on your home court. That'll really wrap it up here for Haverford Sports Media. I am Tommy Toohill with Brendan McNichol. As always, roll Fords.